Hi guys, so for today's video I am joined by my husband Sean and we are doing an unhaul.
We are going to take these books to our local used bookstore and get some store credit.
They are really good about getting us store credit. In fact, they give us kind of a surprising amount of store credit, I feel like, for most used bookstores.
So I have God Country by Donnie Cates and I think it's Jeff Shaw. It's about a guy, an old man who finds a god sword. It's pretty cool. He lives in Texas. But I just don't see myself rereading it. It's very short. I mean, this is it. It's just one volume, so if you want something short, that's cool. But I think I just thought it would go somewhere like it'd be longer. But this is it. This is all it is. It's very thin. And I'm like, well, I read it.
The next thing that I'm unhauling would be the first two books in the Remnant Chronicles by Mary E. Pearson. So the first one was a book that I found to be for sure entertaining, and I didn't dislike the writing style. I thought that the romantic portion of the story was not my favorite, and it's a fairly significant part of the story, but the other things that transpire were interesting enough for me to want to pick up the next one. I was kind of hoping the romantic side of things would go to the back and then we could focus more on the political side of things. And I think that is likely true, but if you saw my my DNFs video, you know that I just couldn't take the main character anymore. She was very aggravating, and I have heard that she grows a lot throughout the series, but I guess I just wanted her to grow a little quicker.
This next one, I actually didn't really like, so.
Aww.
I mean, it wasn't bad. So this is We Three by Grant Morrison. If you are looking for Grant Morrison that you can understand, this is a good one. But once again, it's a one and doneer kind of thing, and it just it's about a puppy and a kitty and a bunny, and they are put in these robot suits and basically forced to become like killing machines. But I think it's supposed to be a message about like, don't be cruel to animals, which is a good message. But I kind of found it hard to believe, even though I know it's make-believe, that our U.S. government would be like, you know, it's a really deadly thing, a tiny rabbit inside a robot.
So the next thing that I am unhauling is Roar by Cora Carmack. This is a story where the world very much relies on individuals who have the ability to manipulate storms, because storms are a huge problem in their world. And so the people that have the ability to work with storms and have storm magic, those people have become royalty because they're the ones that can keep people safe. And I think the premise is really great. The main character is the heir to the throne, but she doesn't have any storm magic and it's kind of a secret. And so she is going to be married off at the beginning of the story to somebody so that that person who has storm magic can protect their kingdom. And she decides that she doesn't really want to do that. She would rather find a way to get magic herself. And so the premise, I think, is fantastic. The storm magic parts of the story are super cool. But the author is, I think, primarily a romance author. And so this is a fantasy story of hers, but it is still very much driven by the romantic sides of things. And that's just not really my jam.
So my last one is Planetus. And this one has a story. It's not an interesting story. But why am I getting rid of this? It's a perfectly good-looking book. It's fun. I like it. There are two volumes. This is volume 1. I bought volume 1 at Barnes & Noble, and volume 2 is at Barnes & Noble, but I thought I shouldn't buy both because I haven't read this. Fast forward many months, volume 2 goes out of print. And I'm like, well, that stinks. Then I saw a for sale post, and it's both volumes, volume 1 and 2, for like $30, which is really good. So I bought that. So then I had two volume 1s, and then Volume 2 came back on stock on Barnes & Noble, which was very odd.
It's like you single-handedly let them know that it was in demand.
But now it's out of stock again on Amazon and Barnes & Noble and basically everything else I can think of. So it was worth it, but I still have an extra one. So I'm just getting rid of the extra one. It's a really good story.
Cool story, bro.
Yeah.
The last two things I'm taking in would be A City of Brass and Kingdom of Copper by S. A. Chakraborty. This is a series that, with the first one, it was definitely, for me, really enjoyable by the end, but it took me a while to get into, and I would say that's primarily because I didn't like the main character. And when I finished the book, I thought, okay, it was a lot of setup, but it was totally worth it because the beginning had a rough go for me. It just took me a while to get invested, but by the end I was really into it and I liked one of the other characters a lot. And then I picked up the second one hoping it would kind of pick up where the first one left off, and I was just finding, I didn't finish it, but I was just finding it was probably going to be a similar situation where it's going to take me a while to get into, and I just don't know that I liked the characters enough. It's not that they're super bland or anything like that. It's legitimately that if it was a real person, I wouldn't like them kind of a thing. I don't think I would get along with them and they would annoy me. And so I don't really want to read a fairly large book about a character that gets under my skin a little. Anyway, that's it for our unhaul. Let us know if any of these you've read and you're really sad that we're getting rid of them, or if you're like, yeah, I get it.
Don't forget to like and comment and subscribe in that order. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.
Bye.